First of all, welcome to For the Need Foundation. This is our event focused on jobs and careers and really the future for these kids. Our goal is to inspire them and to help them to dream big and really be there for them in this journey as they are dreaming big, and maybe they don't see quite the future that we might see for them, and we can help inspire them and to be able to really dream big and do those things. So our focus for this event is jobs and careers, and our goal is really for every kid that's there, no matter what age they are, to be able to come away from this event having more hope for their future and possibly even an opportunity for their future. And so I'm going to go into some details about how we're going to do that. So for next week, it's going to be a lot of fun. Our program development team put our brains together and thought really hard and long about how we can make careers fun and also informative in a way that can impact the kids in a short amount of time with our activities. And so what we came up with is something similar to our last event. Our last one was Power Up Habit Heroes, and we had these cards where they would get a stamp for each station they completed. And so at this one, we're similarly going to have a kind of a station. After our opening ceremony, which will be presented by Grand Canyon University, we're going to have a time where the mentors and mentees together, first off, they're going to look through their Arrow achievement sheets, the ones that we've been handing out at every event, and just talk about their goals and their aspirations and help see if they've accomplished any new ones. And we're actually going to be introducing a new little sheet that the mentors can turn in where it says like the things the kids have accomplished so that it's more clear and less confusing of just having the sheet that just has everything on it. So they'll have that in addition. We're hoping to have that ready by this event, and if not, they'll just be able to fill things out and they can turn them in or send us a picture of the sheet that has the awards that they've earned so that we can make sure they get those charms for the next event. So that's the Arrow achievement sheet. That'll be probably 5 to 10 minutes of just sitting there and looking at that. And then right after that's over, we're going to go into a time of job applications. And you may be wondering, how is a little kid going to do a job application? Well, we're going to have 3 levels of job applications. One that is basically a real application printed out, but has quite a few questions they will actually encounter on real job applications, such as what is a positive trait about you, or what is your availability? That's a really common question. Do you have your own transportation? List 2 references, things like that that are super practical, that if they were to go and fill out a real application, they would be able to use those answers that they came up together with their mentors and actually apply for those jobs. So that's the oldest kids, the kids that are teenagers, probably 15 and up, we're going to recommend for that one. Then we have a middle range where it's going to be a lot simpler. What is your name? And basic questions that they can answer. It probably won't ask about as much about their experience and things like that. Just a shorter one based on that middle school range. That'll be helpful so that they can start thinking, even if they have no technical experience, they can start seeing the questions of it's asking, okay, what is my experience? What are my skills? How can I set myself up to one day apply for these jobs and gain those skills and gain that experience, even if I don't think I have that now. And then for the little kids, we're going to have an even easier one that's really only going to be a few questions that are super simple, and the mentors can even write it for them just to help them, inspire them of, it'll say questions like, what is your favorite thing about yourself? And help them get in that mindset of positivity about themselves, and then also to inspire them if they are having a hard time thinking of something, then that can inspire them to, by the time they're in those older age ranges, have something that they will be able to write. And so those are the 3 levels of the job applications that the kids will work through together with their mentors, sitting down on the ground or table or wherever they're at with their mentors, working together actively. And then once that time period ends, we are going to open up our 3 to 4 stations based on the volunteers we have, and it'll be each person has a specific job that they have requirements for, just a couple things, and also just some basic things that they do at that job For example, like sales or retail would have a requirement of being 15 or older or something, for example, or maybe it would say entry level, no requirements, and that would be great. And then, or it could say positive attitude would be like a requirement for that kind of a job. We'll have 3 or 4 of those, like a teacher, a construction worker, and retailer sales, and then a fourth if we have enough people. And so that's going to be where they get to actually go up and present their resume and ask that person about their job, learn more about it. Even if they don't think they're interested in construction, part of the idea of going to all these stations to get these stamps is learning also open-mindedness, how it's really important to apply to lots of jobs or to be open about the different kinds of jobs that are out there and just being open to learning about them. So they'll have 3 of those or 4, and then they get the stamp if they talk to each one. So for each one, they get a little stamp, and we have the like bingo blotters that go on here and their name on the back. So then once they've gone to all 3, they're able to turn this in, and it'll be a different color. It's going to be like purplish bluish. This is the one from our last event. And so they'll be able to turn that in to the job they liked best for that day. And then after a certain period, once everybody's turned in their tickets, probably about half an hour, we will stop it, we'll stop the time, and we will make an announcement. Okay, we're going to do our raffle for the job of who gets the job, and it's going to be based on random chance. So we're going to pull one of these out of each of the 3 or 4 jobs, and that winner gets tickets so that they can spend those tickets at the Arrow store after lunch. And so the idea of the random chance is, of course, the kids have extremely variant backgrounds. There's ages 0 to 18 and even some older. So it's not going to be accurate or fair to compare them. And then also, so they learn that sometimes with a job, you just need to apply to lots of jobs and you might not get the job, and it might not be because of anything personal, just because of the way that it worked out in that situation. And as I'm sure you're all aware, the real world can be like that, where you can apply to 1 job or 2 jobs and not get it, but it's not something personal. It's just because maybe that person applied first. They coincidentally happened to see it first, or they had 100 people apply and they can only pick one. It's just less likely you're going to be the one. So it's really like all these different things we're doing as mentors. It's just to encourage the kids through everything and through everything they might be feeling or saying, just being that listening ear and being the person who has probably gone through this before. As adults, we've all had jobs of various kinds, and our own experience is super helpful. Something we're not specifically tying into all of this, but is also very important, is networking and who you know. One of the questions is references. They might think, oh, I don't have any references. As a mentor, questions like that from the kids, it's a good position to be like, okay, well, maybe there's a teacher that you're more close to, or maybe there's a For the Need mentor you're close to. And if not, that can be something they can work toward over time. So the whole idea is just to get them thinking, inspired, and have more hope for their futures, and that we're there for them too. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. And then after the raffle, where we draw someone for each of the positions, they'll get those tickets, and then the younger kids will probably just go to lunch at that point or have a little bit of free time if it's not lunch yet. And the oldest kids that are actually of job hiring age will get to apply for real jobs. So we're going to have a QR code that links to Indeed so they can just scan it. Or we'll have probably 1 extra device or 2 for the kids that don't have phones, but the ones who are hireable age have phones, pretty much most of them. And they'll be able to actually apply right then and there, and they can use the job application that they filled out before to actually use those answers to those questions on the actual real application. And then they'll be able to do that through lunch and while they eat, and just make sure that they can apply to at least 1 or 2, and encouraging that. And then we're going to have Dawn coming, who has been a long time part of For the Need, who's usually behind the scenes, She's going to help a lot with that and some of the logistics of that too for those older kids that are ages really like 15 and up. So that's going to be super cool. And then we have lunch. And then after lunch, we will have our Aero store will be open. And so the kids can spend the tickets that they've earned. Either they've earned them from Kacha being good moments or from hitting their targets in life that are on their Aero achievement sheet that the mentors will get in the morning. And they'll be able to spend their tickets there. And then also we're going to have pumpkin painting where pumpkin painting and vision boards so they can do one or the other or both if there's enough supplies, and they'll be able to really dream about their future. Maybe they were inspired by something in the morning, maybe they now want to do construction because they learned more about it and it might not have been quite what they thought it was, and they can draw that or paint that on the vision board or the pumpkins and cut out things in magazines and stuff like that. Or if they really want to just paint, they can just paint whatever on the pumpkin and write it on the back just to help inspire them to be dreaming big. Even the little kids, they might say like firefighter or something, whatever it is. And then we can really inspire that. So for anyone coming to this event, if you can bring extra magazines you have lying around, any photos or things that can be used for a vision board, scrapbooking materials, we're going to have like scissors and glue and poster board, and we're going to have a base of supplies, but any extra we can have that's creative or job related or even just a cookbook might be something fun that they can cut into and put on their vision boards, which are like a poster with just like their vision for the future. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sorry that was kind of a lot, but keep in mind when we get there on the day of, we will be explaining this in bite-sized pieces as the day goes on and announcing things so that everyone who's there is able to just kind of follow along and go through it. And especially for our mentors and crossbows, are able to just focus on being with the kids and encouraging them and talking through any questions they might have, which will hopefully naturally come up. So I really appreciate you guys listening to all of that. I know it was a lot. So that's all I have for this event. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great time. We're really excited for you guys. We've got kids signed up. We've got more who are coming and some new kids too. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. So thank you guys.